Super happy to have you joining me here for this Gemini full moon activation. I'm Adrienne Elise. Well, the full moon happens in just 45 minutes from the beginning of this call. So we're just super tapping into the powerful energy of this full moon. And we'll be talking about what that means and what's going on in the stars and the cosmos, and then moving into a guided meditation. And so, even if you catch this on the replay, you can still tap into the energy of the full moon and what the cosmic stars, the actions of the planets are playing out for us right now. So let's talk about it because it's a really powerful time. What we've been feeling all month long is Saturn squaring Neptune. Now, Saturn is in the beginning degrees of Sagittarius, just returned this month to its pre-retrograde position. And so it's been almost pretty much the whole year has been about this Saturn going back into Scorpio and then coming into Sagittarius. And so this month, for the first time, moving into new territory. But it's not just that happening. It's squaring up exact right now at the exact same degree, 7 degrees, which is the number of change, in squaring up with Neptune and Pisces. And so Saturn is our work, duty, karma, taskmaster. Let's get it done. Let's be real about it. Ruler of Capricorn. And then it's squaring up with Neptune, the dreamer, and the collective consciousness. And so we are really being called to get real about what's going on in our collective consciousness. And this is also, Pisces is the sign of dreams, delusions, of maybe not seeing clearly. And so Saturn square Neptune is really about waking up to the truth. And this whole year has been such a powerful activation, but particularly in the last 2 months, there has been amazing changes on the planet. And so we're all feeling that in our own way. And there's a certain soul group right now that's being heavily activated. And you know if that's you because things are haywire, but that's a good thing because they're falling apart. You're waking up to the truth of who you really are. And many of us have had lifetimes of inability to access this. And so just now is it the appropriate time on the planet for us to activate into the truth of who we really are. And so you know who you are because you're feeling that really strongly. But and the difference here is that it is in the past, when I would do readings, a lot of times I would get a very specific kind of timeline. It says, well, about 2 months ago or 6 weeks ago or 2 years ago, you made a decision, you made a shift, and this is kind of a manifestation of that. And now the message is like, this is just happening to you. You have no choice. This is something you decided as a soul before you came into this incarnation. And so the sooner you can let go of your attachment and expectation to what your life looks like and surrender into the process of activating into the truth of who you are, who you had no idea that you were, things are going to get a whole lot easier. And then we can receive the support. So a lot of today is about these realizations of the truth of who we are and receiving the support of the universe. And the stars are lining up because Saturn's so powerful right there in that new territory at the beginning of Sagittarius, a whole different vibration for the next 2 years here. Saturn Sagittarius is very different than Saturn Scorpio. We are being asked for that work, our duty, to be about expanding the edges of the truth. And indeed, we are about to have a massive disclosure on this planet about the contact with extraterrestrial life that we have had for a long time. And so we are waking up to the truth of who we are as cosmic beings, as who we are in as part of the source as well. And so there's a whole bunch of support to come to the truth of this. And Saturn and Sagittarius is saying, let's get real about this, and squaring up with Neptune saying, we got to come out of the delusions of the past that we are a slave race. We're going to change that vibration, get out of victim, and take back our earth. And so congratulations for being on the team. And it's been quite a roller coaster ride, and it's not stopping anytime soon. These energies coming from the sun right now are as much as we can handle. It's basically we're taking in as much as we can handle, and so it's full speed ahead. And we've been kind of all of us waiting for this time for many lifetimes. and many thousands of years to have this adventure on the planet. And so now it starts time to get real about what that really is with the Saturn square Neptune. Now, the reason this is so powerful, Saturn right there in Sagittarius, the Sun is right there in Sagittarius as well, and also Mercury. So at the very early degrees of Sagittarius, we're just starting out on this adventure of understanding, making it our work to understand and push the boundaries of who we are. And this really does mean that we're going out beyond our solar system to understand there is a whole bunch of other stuff going on right now out there that has been kept from us very deliberately to keep us disempowered. And so this is on an individual level in our life, this is what's happening, is this energy around disempowerment and empowerment. And this particular soul group that's getting activated right now is a soul group that has been often in disempowerment because of who they are in their role. And so it's just the realizations that are coming are about standing up for the truth of who we are and stopping to live the lies of the people around us. Those of us who are aware enough now need to stop living the lies of this society, of the way we do our structure. We're creating something new. And so that means down to our daily thoughts and actions and feelings, and keeping that bigger picture, keeping this understanding that we are creating this reality, and yet we're not in charge either. But it's our consciousness that's creating it. And so when we can have that surrender, when we can have that peace of mind with whatever is happening, because when you can see that big picture of why this is all happening, then you can be like, okay, whatever, like I obviously don't know what's going on here. So it's a really interesting thing because it's like our consciousness and the programs that we've been programmed with are creating our reality, but we actually don't have free will. So it's a very interesting place that we are at, where we are reclaiming our right to be in the true expression of humanity, the true expression of what this earth is to become. And that is moving into this higher vibrational frequency. And usually you die when that happens, or you lose your body and you get another one. And this time we're doing it in a body with our full consciousness of what's happening. It's an amazing time to be on the planet. And it's hard to remember that when things are really tough. But if it's tough and realizations are happening, hard realizations, and things are breaking down, and you're having hard conversations with the people around you, you're doing it right. This is what needs to happen right now, a breakdown of all delusion. And it's hard when we ourselves have been completely hidden in delusion about who we are even. And it can just feel really unsettling, but at the same time, you can feel this universal energy start to flow when you start to surrender and let go to the process. And so if you focus on that, focus on the big picture of how lucky we are to be here, moving Earth into this golden age. So if you're activating right now, that's part of your role, is to assist in this disclosure, into the shift, into this massive amount of technology that's available to us, but that has been suppressed, that will be coming our way before long, before we know it. And so we've got the Sun, the Moon, and Saturn all together there in these early degrees of Sagittarius, super activating the work that we're moving into, of Saturn saying, let's get real about who we really are. And so Saturn and Scorpio was about clearing the shadow so that we could do this seeking. And so we're still clearing up the past, but basically the clarity is starting to come about what this whole year, or last year's, or last set of lifetimes has been about, with this Neptune turning direct on the 18th, just a few days ago. Neptune took direct motion. And so that's been a long cycle. And basically Neptune squaring up with Saturn, going direct, is basically saying, and then with the Sun and the Moon right there, and Saturn as well, and Mercury, it's saying it's time for us to really understand who we are and what's going on in the actual true history of this planet, and how we've been manipulated, and how we have been kept as disempowered slaves. And so it's a lot to take in. And then if you're in your own personal life feeling like you're coming out of your disempowerment and learning to honor yourself in a deeper, truer way, and honor the divine in your life, and honor the gift of this life. This is what's called for right now. This is the shift that's called for. We've got a beautiful energy for this with Mars and Venus still in Libra. And Libra is such the peacemaker, the understander, right there with Gemini moon. It's really powerful. These air signs activated. And it's like we are wanting to think, wanting to understand, wanting to analyze what's going on. And also we have the justice aspect, the part of us, the Libra energy is just bringing this great harmonizing, being able to find the forgiveness for the people who have hurt you. And so we can stop this wheel of karma. And it's a difficult place to be, especially if you've been kind of stuck in this disempowerment place as a human, particularly the soul group, and to kind of climb your way out of it and still be able to forgive the people who had kept you there for so long. And that's what's being called of us right now, so that we can move into the golden age. So we have to disclose the past, and we have to understand the past, and we have to release the past. And so the first step is the disclosure, and that's what's happening on an individual level of these realizations in our life, and then in the collective. So super, super powerful time right now. And yet we have Mars and Venus recently at the beginning of the month had that conjunction in Libra, bringing the ability to see both sides. Bringing the peace and harmony. We've had a great shift with the sun moving into Sagittarius, and this is the Thanksgiving season, the holiday season. It's kind of the time of light, a time of expression, a time of social, great energy for social gatherings with all this air energy, and to kind of be in your own process and not get too engaged with the dramas of the people around you, because you're keeping that bigger picture, you're keeping that bigger perspective. And so that is the kind of holiday advice for this astrology right now, is to kind of, as much as you can, keep in the reality, even if nobody around you validates that you're an expression of the divine, and there's not the honoring of that happening, or whatever's going on in your process of coming out of the disempowerment. Just keep it as your process. And this is a really great way to keep that perspective, and to kind of understand from your perspective what you need. And then it's like these people, even though it's difficult situations, they've played out something very important for you. So we're honoring, having an opportunity to honor the people that have hurt us the most. And it's difficult, but it's what's called for. And yet not being a doormat anymore, coming out of that disempowerment. So these are big shifts. And so when around our family, it's really hard not to, especially with all this communication energy, to want to kind of pull everybody into our story and the way we're seeing things. And it's best just to kind of have your own movie as much as possible, and then let everybody else have their own movie, and just kind of be in that place. And that Venus, Mars in Libra is really supporting that. And then the deeper work is your own work. And it's just, and so that is allowing that big picture and having your own movie, and understanding that the most difficult things have been the greatest gifts to get us to the point to now where we can have this full disclosure, this full understanding of who we really are, step out of the struggle and the disempowerment, and move into this potential, move into this beautiful awakening that's happening as our sun is speaking to us with massive solar flares, and changing our DNA. Our DNA, each DNA has receptors for light. And so it's through our DNA that we're getting these upgrades and downloads, and moving beyond all programming is what we're being called to do. And so in order to move beyond all programming, we have to wake up to how we've been programmed. And we literally have been stuck in some pretty nasty programs, humanity repeating lifetime after lifetime, repeating over and over again. And so now it's kind of like Saturn square Neptune is like, wait, no, I'm not going to wear this cloak anymore. Like, I'm going to see the bigger picture. I'm going to connect with the divine within me, my expression of the cosmic source. and I'm going to be in my own movie and see the gift of everything around me. And this is this massive shift that's happening, particularly in this one soul group that's getting their ass kicked right now. And just know that you're doing it right. It's because you're ready to step into the truth of who you really are and your role here in this powerful time on the planet. And so just know you're doing it right. And the forgiveness, uh, the understanding, the willingness to see the truth, and often to speak the truth. Can we speak the truth and still be in our own movie without blame and without anger? Or, maybe anger has its role to move us sometimes. But this Gemini energy is really the analyzer. Mercury is the ruler. So Mercury right there in Sun and Saturn, we're looking at who we are. The sun is our identity, how we see ourselves. And so it's like, who are we? What are we? What's really going on here? And for some people right now on the planet, it's the most important thing. And it kind of is, it's like if you're going through these troubles in the soul group that's being super activated right now, if you can just tap into this whole other reality that's never validated in our outward life. It's hardly ever validated, the truth of who we really are and what's really going on in the big picture. But if you can kind of be in that, okay, and then the truth of you and the truth of this, of humanity, this world, if that needs to be the most important thing, and so it's just like that is the medicine to help with these changes, to be like, oh yeah, this is all a gift because I'm having this amazing opportunity to change consciousness in a body, and I'm going to help a lot of other people do it once I get it figured out. This is the cutting edge, the very first wave of activation in the indigo ray is happening right now. And so this is people born mostly in the 60s, 70s, but maybe the 50s and the 80s too. And so it kind of crosses through all generations really. But this soul group is being super activated, and they're carving the way for the rest of us to be able to awaken into the truth of who we are. And so the key to that right now is written in the stars, that the search for the truth of who we are is the most important thing. The most important thing, that finding the source within and surrendering to that is the most important thing. And then it's like the other energies of the forgiveness and the coming out of disempowerment and kind of keeping perspective on all these heavy shifts that are happening. And so but keeping in the big picture, the truth is the most important thing. But the truth is that we are amazing technological devices in our own right, and we're having this amazing experience on the planet. And so tapping into this understanding, tapping into our new identity, and staying steadfast in that truth seeking. Saturn is saying, yeah, don't give up. Just go till you got the real truth. And of course, the truth is always changing for us. There's no actual truth, there are only beliefs. But as we uncover these layers, we get to the truth, which is the cosmic expression within, through our lens, of our individual lens, and seeing that we are everything around us. And so this is the most challenging thing, ironically, to the system that's kept us in disempowerment. And so this is why it's the most important thing, and why Saturn is pushing us to expand our knowledge of who we are, our seeking, and to understand. And so Mercury is right there being like, okay, we got to get this. We got to get this time. And so what beautiful energy, but that means coming out of the delusions of what we've been told. And for this soul group, it's a lot about like what you've been told about who you are, or the gifts that you've brought to the planet in the past, or this lifetime being seen as a bad or dangerous thing. And so that's the part of this. We're coming to the truth. And sometimes that's hard. It's painful sometimes to look at the truth. And that's, humanity is on the edge of some really big truths. And we are helping that along by facing the delusions and holding true to what's really going on and who we really are in our own field. Even when our whole outside world can't, nobody can validate it for us. Our job is to hold that light, is to hold that truth, that we are way bigger than this narrow existence. And if we can just surrender into that is our purpose here, the soul group, carving the way, making it okay in this world to allow this DNA change to happen. And so happy waking up. And I hope you have a wonderful holiday time together. And it's a great time for taking time to yourself and to be in nature, to get away, to a retreat, of course, this time of year, but particularly in the stars and with all the activations that we've had in the last 6 weeks in particular. The body is adjusting. The physical body is really going through a lot of changes. And so supporting that in the best way you can with lots of rest and lots of water and lots of care. And make sure to tell your water has memory. So make sure to tell your water that you love it. And you say, I love you to my water. And then that can go into your cells and help this transition along. Because to come out of disempowerment, we need to have that profound realization that we are cosmic source and we need to quit treating it like a little piece of shit. So blessings and self-love to you, and go ahead and get comfortable if you want to stick around for the activation, or you can come back for it. We're going to go ahead and feel the powerful energy of this full moon that we're moving into here in about 25 minutes. So just feel yourself grounded into this space. Gemini energy is pretty activating in the mind. So we're just going to invite this activation energy to move through the whole body, starting to inform cell by cell what's really happening here. What's available to us right now on the planet when we can put our heads up above these stories that are being created for us right now. To keep us creating more trauma and drama. And we know everybody knows there's fear hype in the news, but we don't fully know the extent of the seeds that are planted in our collective consciousness for us to then create. And this has been changing. We haven't been buying into it so much. But still, there's our consciousness is being kept on terrorism and war, and that's what we're creating. So let's bring our consciousness into the expansive truth of who we are, just feeling your consciousness behind your eyes. And just go ahead and imagine that you can clean up all of this kind of stray thoughts and emotions and confusion. It's been such an active time. And so just go ahead and receive a healing to kind of make space in your head. And I want you to go ahead and imagine that eventually there's room for the whole Milky Way. And just feel that expansiveness growing, moving out all of the debris, spinning, activating into harmonious balance between the right and left brain, allowing for this expansive peace to arrive in your field. Just taking a few deep breaths as you allow yourself to come into this still point. And just feel yourself, your whole body becoming space. Just space, moving in space. Tapping into what Saturn really wants us to understand right now. The expansive, the boundary of who we really are, which there is none. Feel yourself at complete peace, as if you're just floating through space. Absolutely in tune to cosmic harmony vibration. There is a force that keeps everything moving. This is the vital force. It is in the whole galaxy, everywhere, all galaxies, all universes, and it's also within us in our body, everywhere around us. We've been taught that space is something out there, but it's actually found within us, as science has proven to be true. So find that space, find that expansiveness, allow yourself to arrive there. There's a lot of programming that wants to keep us from finding this level of peace in our brain, in our mind. So just go ahead and feel out your brain. Just imagine that you can kind of take a spotlight and move it around, maybe feel sensations in certain areas. Where are you called to, where this programming might exist that prevents the right and left brain from operating together and prevents this harmonic energy of harmony and connection to the cosmos? It has been clipped off. So go ahead and invite the removal. There's a lot of guidance and support available here, healing on other levels. So just invite removal of that programming that keeps you from easily being able to connect with you as cosmic source. And just see that being removed, inviting in psychic surgery if that's needed. We're connecting into the truth of who we really are as cosmic beings. Expansive space. Now, this affords a feeling of deep peace and trust and surrender. We can find it in this moment, we can find it in our lives. So just inviting this mechanical implant information in your brain or spinal column that has to do with fight or flight mechanism, keeping us in survival mode, in the root chakra. Anywhere between the root, the base of the spine, and the brain. Just going in with almost like a metal detector, a magnet, pulling out any machinery or programming. It says that we are not allowed to access the God force within our own being. Just feel yourself moving deeper and deeper into peace, your birthright. And inviting this peace in your heart as your consciousness drops with gravity just into your throat, feeling the tissues around you. And then just moving to the physical space behind your heart. And breathe with the universe and the cosmos. Space is not something out there. Space is in here. And what would it look like to have space in your life? Plenty of time. Plenty of money. Plenty of support for your specific tasks that align with your awakening. Clear guidance. Breathing the space into your heart. Feeling yourself grounded and held by Mother Earth as you journey. Feel yourself pulled into the toroidal field of the heart. Like a donut shape, and just hopping along the edge and moving into the center. This is the divine feminine geometry that is free energy, vortex technology, anti-gravity, and it's available in our very own body. Our heartbeat creating the spark of a magnetic field that goes out 50 feet around us. So just breathe into that space, breathe space into space. Feel yourself as space moving through space. Absolutely at peace with this experience, with this lifetime, with everything that's gotten you to this powerful place. Just feel yourself surrender as you move deeper and deeper into the center of the wormhole. Now, our whole world is polarity except for one point, the very center. There's no polarity, so we're going to visit that place. And what does it look like to live life from this place of no polarity? There's no enemy. There's no black and white. There's no separation from you and your experience and everything else around you. Deep, deep trust. Deep surrender to your higher self. Deep into the center of your heart. Just find yourself in the tiniest space of the heart. There's a massive activation as humanity to exist in this world. We've had to shut down our heart. We are not even sure what it feels like to have a heart chakra fully activated. So when you open your heart, you feel the collective pain. We have been desensitized and closed in order to survive. But now it's changing. And everyone is becoming more and more sensitive. We're all increasing our empathic abilities, and we're feeling the unresolved shadow of the earth and its desire to be cleansed. But we can't make that pain our identity any longer. It's time for the soul group to release the collective pain they carry for humanity and the planet. So that they can open their heart chakra, their device, their free energy device. So just feel gradually in from the tiniest space of the heart, this kind of laser light coming from inside of you. As Rumi says, I knocked on the door and it opened from the inside. Do some repairs to that heart chakra with this laser light of clarity at the center of you from the tiny space of your heart. Coaxing the activation, the opening. This is a feeling of being full in your own light, in your own self, in your own experience. Feeding yourself first because you are an overflowing cup. Letting the source the waterfall of love, re-inhabit your being. It's safe now to come out of hiding and open your heart and be the light that you are meant to be. Right here, right now on planet Earth, your only job, the most important thing. Just taking a few deep breaths as you coax yourself deeper and deeper into the tiny space, clearing the way, clearing the precepts, clearing the pain, clearing the failure, the guilt, all of that bullshit stories we've been programmed with for many lifetimes, and just get rid of it. There's nothing wrong with your light. It is a beautiful gift that is needed on the planet right here, right now. The most important thing. And just feel this light move through your whole being, talking to each cell, telling each cell that it's time to open and receive the activations of the sun. Our DNA starts spinning and changing. We're turning our bodies to light. Cell by cell, just letting your body know that you're going through some massive changes. And it means letting go of the heaviness, the density. Just finding any areas in your body that this energy is there, the heavy, the dross. Just imagine that you can use that as fuel for your journey. And feel that energy move, the vital force going to that area of the body, beginning to release that trapped, hidden, shadowed darkness. There's a corresponding program in the brain and the DNA. And just go ahead and invite those to be released as well. It's just a bad movie. It's safe to come home now to Mother Earth in a way we've never been able to before. Just feeling yourself as that full cup, as that fountain of love, a circuit of energy below and above, earth magnet, heaven magnet, the sun and Mother Earth together, peaceful union of the male and female in your heart. The happy home within, just go ahead and find it. Most people in the soul group chose not to have a happy childhood, and maybe it's because it's easier on some level to find this happy home within now and to help bring in the masses to this place. So just go ahead and allow that for yourself. Your birthright, to feel good in your body, in yourself, in your being. Right here, right now, safe to incarnate a little bit more of your light. Just breathing it into every cell, this golden light, reminding you who you really are. And just imagining this wave of energy like a prayer of forgiveness. With Mars and Venus together in Libra, coming to terms with opposites, forgiving on a deep level, ourself and everyone else for playing out these stories, these very painful stories. Just a wave of deep forgiveness and understanding. It's something we needed to get here right now, and now it can stop. Now the nightmare is over. When we can truly forgive. And just receiving that energy wave of self-forgiveness for whatever transgressions in any lifetime. There are no mistakes, so just removing. Any responsibility or blame for the way things are on the planet. Just taking a few deep breaths, feeling yourself as that expansive space within space, absolute peace, absolute surrender to your higher self, the highest self, part of you that's in direct communication with Source. Go ahead and just reaffirm your connection through your crown chakra and sixth chakra to your highest self, your true higher self, and no other interference. Just make there's just a communication. Everything you need to receive can come through your higher self, not from any channel or other authority or any human. The information you need right now is coming directly through your higher self. So just go ahead and reaffirm that connection, clearing the pathway to receive and surrender. Thank and honor yourself for being a part of this grand experiment. Reaffirming the gift of life on planet Earth at this time. Although tremendously shifting, changing, disruptive, fearful, a great experiment, a great surrender. Just taking a few deep breaths, feel yourself space within space, beginning to make your journey home into your body, into your awareness, just taking your time, remembering that you can access life through the view of your heart. You can live from that place. First, you must receive for yourself the love of the universe again. Just feeling that heart chakra begin to open and activate into these higher dimensional energies. Many people are activating right now, but then having a conflicting commitment, these belief systems from past lives saying that that is the last thing you should do and you are not allowed to activate into your potential. We've got this message lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. So how do we feel right now when we have no choice but to activate and these control mechanisms are triggered in our field? Very confusing time. But that means you're doing it right. So just taking a few deep breaths, coming back into your everyday awareness, into your body, into your room, paying attention to your body, feeling yourself arrive. bringing with you the peace, the expansion, the bigger world view that's available with the Sagittarius energy and the analyzer Gemini. Perhaps understanding things for the first time in a long time, and understanding so much to know that we don't know anything at all. Most of what we've been told in this world is a lie. So we're waking up out of the lies and out of the delusions into our true potential. It's just coming back into your body, completing your journey, bringing your peace with you, taking a few deep breaths, starting to move your body, come back and arrive. Thank you so much for journeying with me. I'm Adrienne Elise, and thank you for taking advantage of this powerful Gemini full moon energy as we come into the truth of who we are, humanity, and who we are individually in this great activation that's happening right now on the planet. So thanks for joining me, and I look forward to next time. Namaste.